Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Battle Bunker. It's been a minute. I've been trying to digest the codex. Been looking at all the different detachments, but anybody that's been following me from video 1 will know that it was always my dream, my want, to play a Harlequin army. So I've decided that I'm going to go as best I can down the Ghosts of the Webway detachment. So with that in mind, I've built myself a list. I've had a couple of test games with it. But before we talk about the test games, let's talk about the list. So started off, I wanted to go as pure Harlequin as I could. There are a few elements where, unfortunately, in my opinion, we need to dip into the craft world side of Eldar. But I've tried to keep that to the minimum I can. I've only included 4 units total from the craft world side. Everything else is pure Harlequin. So without hesitation, let's dive in and we'll have a look and see. So I've started with the Death Jester. He's my warlord. He's lone op 12 inches. He's got all the choices that he used to have from the index. So the sustained hits 3, the ignores cover, and the precision. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough points available to put Murder's Jest on him, but I am looking at an alternative list, maybe evolving this a little bit, where he will have it. I've then got 2 Shadow Seers. One of them has the Mistweave to give me the infiltrate on a unit that they're leading. And while they're leading a unit, that unit is lone op 18 inches. I've then got Solitaire. Now, she is very much of a scalpel. She surgically removes things. I made the mistake on the index when I tried playing her in the same way you would the Avatar. The Avatar's a great big heavy stick. You can throw him out there, he hits stuff, he takes damage. The Solitaire is much more of a precision instrument. Like I said, a difference between a big hammer and a scalpel. Again, she's also lone op 12 inches. You'll notice there's a lot of lone op in this list, and because she's lone op 12 inches, she's also got the blitz maneuver still as well. So I've then got 3 troop masters. One of those has got the Segarax coil, I think it's called, the one that gives the impact mortals, and the other 2 unfortunately don't. Then I've got 5 units of troops. So the 2 Shadow Seers, are both leading a unit, and the 3 troop masters are also leading a unit. So although I've got 6 or 7 characters, they're all, apart from the Solitaire, are leading a unit. So that makes them a little bit more tanky and a little bit less susceptible to assassination, in my opinion. And then I've got 1 unit of 2 of the Harlequin bikes, with both with the Zephyrglaves and the haywire cannons. They are there. They are -1 to hit all the time. They're really fast. The anti-tank or the anti-vehicle 4+ with devastating wounds on the haywire cannons is particularly effective. And then the Zephyrglaves are pretty tasty in close combat. Now, there are better close combat units out there. Maybe a unit of Shining Spears or something instead might hit a bit harder. But like I say, I wanted to go as pure Harlequin as I could, so that's where we are with them. I've then got 3 Star Weavers. So the Shadow Seer that doesn't have the Mist Weave, he is with his unit is in one of the Star Weavers, and the 2 Troop Masters that don't have the Kegarax coil, they're in the other 2 Troop Masters, in the other 2 Star Weavers, and the other Troop Master with his troop is in a Falcon, which is equipped with a Bright Lance. Yeah, so that's the first time I dipped into the Craft World Codex. I then got 2 Void Weavers. Again, these are both blown up 18 inches. Only a 24-inch gun now, but they've both got the prismatic cannon. Just because I think into armies that aren't vehicle heavy, I think the prismatic cannons do a better job than the haywire cannons. I know the haywire cannons have got devastating wounds, but they are only toughness 3, I think. I know the bike ones are only toughness 3, or strength 3, sorry. So you know, it's a tough one, but I decided to go with the prism cannons. Then speaking of prism cannons, I've got a lone fire prism. He's just there to sit at the back, just to keep everything honest, and go. You know, he's quick enough to go where I need him, pretty much when I need him. He's very, very good at taking out vehicles. I mean, they're not as effective as they were when they had the full rerolls and everything, and you could throw a fate dice in. But they're still pretty tasty. You know, they can make big stuff go away. But equally with the second option on the gun, very, very good at making smaller stuff go away as well. So, you know, so the lower strength option is effectively a 2d6 shuriken cannon. So it's kind of, you know, it's pretty good at making lower toughness stuff go away as well. So I've then got a Viper as well, with a Bright Lance. Again, he's there just for a little bit more anti vehicle, anti monster. You know, a little bit more anti heavy stuff. But he's also really good at getting out there and scoring the odd secondary and blocking movement to try and slow down the enemy a little bit. And then finally, to round the list out, there's a Warlock Skyrunner. Again, he's just there. He's literally just there to go out and score secondaries. You know, he's about 45 points. He's got a 14-inch move, and then you can stick the extra two on him from Swift as the Wind. You know, he's 16 inches, and you know he'll get you about the board. You know, if you want to advance him, then he's still got his shuriken catapults, which are assault weapons. Okay, he can't use his disruptor or his psychic flamer if you advance, but he can still fire his shuriken catapults. So yeah, so that's the list. As I've got it at the moment, I'm relatively happy with how it's playing. There's a few things that I, as a pilot, need to remember. I've played 2 games with it now, both extremes of the game. The first game I played was into Knights, so you've got very few model count, but you've got your high toughness, your high wounds. You know, and the second one was into a swarm Tyranids. So completely the opposite side of the spectrum. You got lots and lots and lots and lots. You know, I think Paul put 120, 140 models on the board against me. Lots and lots and lots of low toughness stuff that keeps coming back. Really frustrating, because you think you've shot him off the objective. Before he gets to score his primary, he does his regen, he puts him back on the objective. Yeah. and he's got it again. It was really frustrating. So anyway, before we go any further, I'll start by talking about the game I played with Nathan against his knights. I did lose this game. It was incredibly close right through the whole first. Nathan only really started to pull away as we got into turn 4. It was 93-73 to Nathan, and it was Purge the Foe. Purge the Foe with Eldar into knights. Could I have drawn any worse mission? Yeah, all these squishy little toughness 3 elves, against big toughness 16, toughness 12 knights. It was a tough match. I managed to stay with him for primary. My biggest mistake, and I made the same mistake in both games, I overextended myself too early. As far as going into Nathan with the knights is concerned, I knew he needed to kill my warlord. And I have actually changed the warlord since I played Nathan. One of the troop masters was the warlord in this first game. So I've actually changed that to the Death Jester just to keep the warlord just a little bit further back, out of trouble. So one of my troop masters was my warlord on this occasion, and I knew Nathan needed to kill my warlord so he could become honoured. So he's got Canis Rex, and I know Canis Rex can crash through buildings. What I didn't realise is that his entourage of smaller knights couldn't. So, me being me, knowing that Canis was going to come for my warlord, I went for Canis turn 2. The mistake I made is I should have left it another turn, because Canis was going to crash through the wall of the building, into my half of the board. Instead, I went chasing off into Nathan's half of the board. I did manage to kill Canis in a turn. In a turn of shooting and a turn of close combat, I did manage to kill Canis. Unfortunately, because I'd gone after Canis, it meant that I'd left myself exposed to all the little Helverins and everything else, to just batter me. What I should have done was wait for Canis to come crashing through the building, and then blocked the way with my Viper, with my Warlock, so blocked the route that the Helverins would then need to come around the building. So I had Canis isolated then. Then I could have focused everything I'd got in the army into Canis on my terms, and in my deployment. So I'd have had just that little bit more protection for when Canis went down. I wasn't left out in the open. So, lesson learned there. I am not very good at the action-based primaries. So, Purge the Foe, Terraform, Scorched Earth. I struggle a little bit with them, but the more I play them, the better I'm getting. Also, and this is not an excuse at all. You can, anybody that looks at the stats on my battle scoring app will see it. If I go first, I win 66% of my games. If I go second, I only win 33% of my games. I struggle to go second, and I struggle to be able to react to what my opponent is doing. If I go first, I can dictate terms. If I go second, and it doesn't matter who my opponent is, it doesn't matter who I'm playing, what I'm playing, the faction I'm playing into doesn't make any difference. I struggle to go second. So moving forward, I'm going to have some practice games where we don't roll off the start for who goes first, who goes second. My opponent will go first. So just so that I can practice how you react to somebody, you know, as a player that goes second. And I'm going to play more of these mission-based or action-based primaries as well. So that was how it went in with Nathan. It was a really close game right the way through the first 3 turns. Start of turn 4, he managed to clear me off some of the primary that I'd been holding. I'd not been doing very well with the purge because it's difficult to kill knights of that size. So he managed to clear me off some of the primary, and he just pulled away in those last 2 turns, turn 4, turn 5. Yeah, and unfortunately for me, and well done to Nathan, because Nathan's not been playing that long. He's only a young lad, so he's he played really well, and I need to do better with the mission or the action based missions. So very quickly on to playing Paul then with his Tyranids, his swarm Tyranids. I've never seen so many Gants and Gaunts and Gene Stealers on the board, on the other side of the board. I've got to admit that my first thought when I saw him put everything on the board was, ah, yeah, what am I going to do with this? And yeah, the mission was Terraform. Paul got first turn. I did lose this 95 to 64. So Paul got Terraform. Oh, it was Terraform. Paul got first turn. Out come all these Gants out onto the 3 midfield objectives, and he went Terraform, Terraform, Terraform. So I knew I had to disrupt this Terraform. So I turn 1 threw everything out front. Yeah, I had the Solitaire went out to disrupt 1 with a unit of Harlequin troops and a troop master behind it. I had my infiltrated troop with the Solitaire. Oh, sorry, with the Shadow Seer. They went charging off into one of the other ones, and then round the other side, I brought my bikes and the 2 Void Weavers to disrupt the 3rd one. What I should have done, yeah, was let him have 2. Yeah, let him have, maybe disrupt the one in the middle, and forget about the one on one side of the board and focus on the one in the middle and the other half of the board. Then maybe, again, like I said, I stretched myself too thin, and I didn't have enough strength in any one area to be able to keep the Gants at bay. I could kill enough to get them off the objective. So the Terraform was stopped at the end of his turn, or the end of my turn. He then, going into his command phase, he then did his respawn things, and then so he respawns the models back, chaining them out just enough on the objective to make sure that I'm out OC'd, and then he scores his primary, and this is pretty much how the game went. The lone op 18 inches of the 2 Void Weavers saved them quite considerably, because I managed to keep them just outside of his big guns range, or just outside of the 18 inches, so I could hit his big guns, but he couldn't hit me. Yeah, and that was a bit of a cat and mouse all the way through. Eventually he did get both Void Weavers, but the -1 to hit on the Void Weavers, the lone op 18 inches, the 4+ invols when you need them, really strong. They performed really well. They did take some wounds off of his big bugs with his big guns. The fire prism took out took out one of his big bugs from the other side of the board, and it wounded another one, and then the falcon finished the second one off. So I did manage to get two of the big bugs out of the game. The rest of them he just hid them behind this wall of Gants that I just could not get through. So yeah, as far as things that I've learned and things that I need to work on in future, I know that I need to be more patient. You can't play Harlequins in the same way you play Craftworld. They're just not durable enough. Even though they've got the 4+ armor saves, you've got the -1 hits options, you've got you've got -1 to wound options, you've got all these other shenanigans and things. There's just a few occasions where I rushed a little bit too far ahead. I should have been a little bit more patient, and things like that. And the biggest thing that I learnt from playing the Tyranids is, for crying out loud, remember that big bug with the big flamer. I made the same mistake twice of moving units onto the center objective without turning off Overwatch first, to then get punished. So I know I've got a lot of things to work on. I am happy with how the army works together. You can't just throw a unit of troops into a target. It's very much a death by 1,000 cuts army. So units need to work together. You bring a Void Weaver in, you bring your bikes in, you have your big guns sitting a little bit further back, then you have your troops come in. The devastating wounds on troops is amazing. And things like that. The -1 to hit. Sorry, not -1 to hit. The lone op 18 inches that the Shadow Seers give their 2 troop units. That's a godsend. So I'm very, very happy with how the army works and how everything gels together. All I need to do is to remember to be just that little bit more patient, and to just wait my turn, and focus things rather than trying to do everything all at once. So that's about it for today. I've really enjoyed both games. Well done to Paul, well done to Nathan. Hopefully I shall get back to the tabletop again very, very soon. I know Tristan, my son Tristan, he's been bugging me for a week or so now about when we're going to play, Dad. When we're going to play, Dad. I want my Night Lords to face your Harlequins. So that'll be a fun matchup, and that will give me something a bit more in the middle. I've played the big tough scary knights, with high toughness, high wound counts. I've played I played the Swarm Tyranid army with its lots and lots and lots of low toughness models. So this will give me something in the middle. Like I say, he's a Night Lords player, so he's a bit MEQ, Marine equivalents. So that should be an interesting match to see how the same list performs against your normal Marine type armor. Anyway, once I've got a couple more games under my belt, then I'll come back and I'll have another chat with you all, and I'll let you know how I'm getting on. But for now, thank you very much for joining me in the Battle Bunker. Can I say very quickly a fantastic congratulations to Toby Bennett for how he did in his tournament at the weekend. He was down at the South Coast. I believe he came 5th. overall. So yeah, really good game. Really good weekend for you, Toby. Well done. Toby's also does 40k coaching. I'll put a link in the description below for his page. Go check him out. Toby's helped me out so much over the last sort of few months or so. So yeah, please do go and look Toby up. He's on Instagram. He's on Facebook. It is no, I can't remember the name of your page. Sorry, Toby. But I shall put a link down below for it anyway. Also, go and check out Black Crow Gaming. They are the group that Toby's involved with. They're a big club. They've been having a lot of success lately. And also my club. You better go and check us out as well. We're the West Norfolk Rollers. There's only 9 of us in the club at the moment. We are several of us are venturing out into the world of tournaments. So we so we've got our own Facebook page now and an Instagram as well. So go and check us out. And then there's my Facebook page and Instagram, which is Khaine and the Laughing God, where I'm going to look at content for the Harlequins, and I will be at some point in the future looking at Aspect, Host, and War Host. But for now, it's all about the Murder Clowns. But yeah, so go and check all those out. I should put links for all of those in the description below. So everybody have a great weekend, or have a great week, and I shall see you all very soon. And may the dice forever roll in your favour. Good night.